Day, a festival of music, dancing and dressing up in honour of the King of Pop, whose pop-in-law was the King of Rock and Roll. And the great thing about being a Michael Jackson look-alike is that you don't actually have to look like him. When you're using all that energy on the dance floor, it's wise to bring your sandwiches. Despite allegations of child abuse and the showbiz marriage of convenience, Michael Jackson's fans are refusing to desert him.
People are saying things that are not true, and I don't believe them.
Just gives me goosebumps.
You're a pretty good lookalike. It could be him walking into the room, couldn't it?
No, I don't think so.
All the wannabe jackos went down well, but the big event of the day was an appearance by the man himself. Sadly, it only took the form of a badly shot video in which that much operated on nose seemed to take on a life of its own. Those few words, despite the nose, were enough to send the crowd into ecstasy. Gary Cottrell, Sky News.
And joining me in our studio now is Rick Sky, the Daily Mirror showbiz correspondent, and Keith Preddie, a Michael Jackson fan, as I'm sure you can see. Good afternoon to both of you. If I could start with you first. Clearly, you're a fan. You must devote an awful lot of time to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if I'm doing this sort of thing, I like to make myself look as good as I can as possible. This is my way of showing that I'm a dedicated, hardcore Michael Jackson fan, because I want to look like him, dance like him, and just because he promotes goodness around the world, and I love that.
And this is despite all of the allegations that we've heard. You and obviously a large number of other people choose not to believe the allegations.
It's the case of, we just know that Michael Jackson is the biggest entertainer in the world, and there are people who want to bring him down. And it's such a bizarre situation that once Michael Jackson gave the boy the money, that was it. Now, in my situation, if that happened to me or my kids, no amount of money would deter me from bringing justice. So it looks really iffy, and I don't believe it at all. I just think that they just want to get at Michael Jackson like everybody else does. And the only way you can harm him is by the kids, because, you know, everything else is no problem. But with the kids, because he loves the kids so much, that's the only thing that can bring him down. But he's still there.
So could you tell us how much of an impact do you think these allegations have had?
From friends that I've known who are just Michael Jackson fans, it's been very devastating for them emotionally and physically. One Michael Jackson fan I know, she's been in hospital because of it, because she's seen him upset, so she's been upset, and she's actually really bad. She's been in hospital for about 3 months. She's on medication because of all the allegations, because she's seen him, people trying to destroy him, and that really hurts her deep down inside.
Right, OK. Can I bring you in here, Rick?
Okay, sure.
You've written a book on Michael Jackson. You've also had a writ issued against you because you published a photograph of this picture that looked as if he had a hole in his nose.
Yeah.
That's one set of bizarre circumstances that he's been through. But are these allegations against him different, do you think?
I think so. I think that obviously they're much more serious, these kind of things. It's one thing for me to be writing about, you know, how his face looks and, you know, how different his nose looks. But this is a much more serious thing. This whole thing is quite dangerous, really, to him and to his career. You know, Michael lives on hype, and he loves hype, and he loves making an impact. But I think this hype could really work against him.
Do you think that people have really taken on board the allegations more than anything else that's ever been said about him?
I think they have taken it on board, but it's easy for people to forget allegations. You know, all he's got to really do, well, not all he's got to do, but if he came out with a really good record, if I were him, I would come out with a good record now and donate all the money from the record to a kids' charity. I mean, and really donate it, not pretend you're donating it, you know, really give 20 million to a kids' charity. That might help him out, but he is in big trouble. I mean, his career was on a downward slope anyway, and though he's still got a wonderful, loyal amount of fans, I think, you know, he's got to do something quite soon to readjust the situation. I mean, he did a big thing by trying to, by marrying Lisa Marie Presley. I mean, that's incredible. A girl he hardly knew, you know, to try to make himself more respectable and responsible. It's sad with Jackson because all the things around him are such hype.
Actually, can I bring you in there, Keith? I saw you chomping at the bit when he said those things.
Well, the only thing that concerns me is, like you said, about people forgetting. We all try and forget the allegations, but every time there's something in the paper or something on the news, they always mention the abuse. They always bring it back. So people can't forget because, nothing personal, but the news and the media always keep using that as a headline, you know, blah, blah,
But
blah.
what he should have done, really, you see, I was thinking about this, to completely get away from these allegations, he should have fought this in a court of law. I mean, another 8 weeks, another 10 weeks of trial and things like that. And if he had been vindicated, that would have been great. Then people, you know, would have forgotten. He would have been innocent. But at the moment, it does look, you know, all the evidence against him and things, even though that he settled and it's all gone away, people still have quite a lot of doubt in their minds whether he is innocent. And I mean, unfortunately, we're talking at a very, very bad time for any Jackson fan now, because it was reported in the papers a couple of days ago that he's just settled with another boy, the boy of the maid who worked for Jackson. Has just paid a big settlement. Although it was remarkable because it wasn't really covered very well by the press, and I'm wondering if even the press have had enough of this now.
But he's bound, surely, to have more and more of these allegations against him. Could I just give it over to you quickly, just to say, why do you think he inspires such loyalty, very briefly, before we go?
Because to me, he just promotes goodness throughout the world, you know. He's given me the opportunity to travel around the world, perform on stage, and he's just a really good bloke.
Thanks. We'll be back shortly with more national and international news.
This Christmas brings exclusive Sky subscribers.